What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm e-bike builder. I do e-bike things, e-bike modification, build, stuff like that. Make sure you like and subscribe. So in this video I want to talk about VESC. So the VESC project is an open source project for electronic speed controllers. So we can use VESC controllers on our e-bikes if we want to, right? So I've been using VESC controllers over the last year, and I think that it's a promising platform for e-bike controllers and also just like electric vehicles in general. The thing that I like about the VESC project is that it's open source, so that means that all of the source code is openly available. You can clone it down and make modifications to it and change things and do whatever you want and see how everything works on the inside. So it's an open source community of developers who all work together on the project, contributing. So that's kind of like, as opposed to something that would be like a closed source, proprietary, like private kind of thing, right? So I like that it's open source, and it's also got so there's the hardware, right? So you've got VESC hardware, that's your controllers, but then there's also the VESC software, so that is the VESC tool, and that's what I'm looking at here on my screen, is the VESC tool on the VESC project website. And so the VESC tool is the software that we use to connect to our VESC controllers. So that's how you can do the motor detection. This is how you configure all of the parameters and do all of the controller programming, is using this VESC tool software, which is also open source, part of the VESC project. So there's a VESC tool mobile app that's available on the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store for iOS. When you come to download the VESC tool, they make you make an account. You have to log in, and then it's like you have to add it to your cart, but there is this VESC tool free down here at the bottom. So there is a free version of it. So it's a little bit confusing, but like, this is just if you want to donate and contribute to the VESC project, donate to the development. You can do that, right? By choosing to pay for one of those paid versions. Okay, so in VESC, one of the things that's most appealing about open source software is that you can like change it and modify it, and you can see how it works. And it's not like all hidden away and private and proprietary and secret, and somebody's like guarding it to guard their business secrets, right? So this is just open source, so everybody can kind of mess around with it. And so VESC is kind of just like a general purpose electronic speed controller. It's not specifically for e-bikes, right? So it's kind of like a general purpose platform, but then the way that you can customize VESC and extend VESC and add features and functionality to it, they have something that's called VESC Packages. Okay, so VESC Packages, and so I've got kind of like a little diagram here explaining VESC Packages. So VESC Packages are something that's available in VESC. So you can see over here on the VESC firmware, VESC Packages, this yellow box, it shows that VESC Packages can contain Lisp code, so those are scripts. So in VESC, I've done some videos previously about Lisp, the scripting that's available within VESC. So here's the VESC tool, and here's the Lisp scripting interface within the VESC tool, right? So Lisp is the scripts that we can do in VESC. And then there's also native code, right? I think it's C is the programming language that all this is mostly done in, is C. Then you can have data files, but then there's also QML code, right? So in a VESC package, you can have kind of like scripts, that's your Lisp. You can have native code, that's C. data files, and then also QML code. And the QML is what you make the layouts with. So you can kind of, how it works is you can script kind of like programmatic functionality with scripts, right, and with Lisp, but that doesn't add any kind of like a layout or user interface to the VESC tool at all. So if you want to customize VESC with like your own user interface and your own features and functionality, what you probably want to do is make a package to like add features on top of VESC, right? The nice thing about VESC packages is that it's independent of VESC itself. So like if a package author, if somebody's who's developing a package wants to create an update for a package, all they have to do is just update their code for their package, and then they can redistribute their package, and everybody can get that new package and the new features that they've added on top of VESC without necessarily needing a whole new version of VESC. Into like, if you want to change VESC itself and like change the code within VESC, that's a lot more involved and a lot more effort, right? But like, you can just kind of build these packages on top of VESC, and then it's kind of like makes it easier in terms of like releasing new packages and doing updates and stuff. You can do it independently of VESC itself, so that's nice, right? And then so that is kind of what VESC packages are. And then so on GitHub, under so Benjamin Vetter is the guy that made all of this. Benjamin Vetter, the V in VESC stands for Vetter. So these are all of Benjamin's projects here, and they're all kind of related to VESC as far as I can tell. But then so he's got a repository here for VESC packages, and there's a little bit more information here about VESC packages. So it says a package contains a description, which can include formatted text and images, optional Lisp BM scripts. It can include compiled C libraries, and then there's also an optional QML file. Packages can be pulled and updated from VESC tool on demand, so their development does not have to be synchronized with the VESC tool development. So that's kind of what I was talking about just a moment ago. So it kind of gives you information, if you're a developer, on how you can create a VESC package here. And then so QML is kind of like the coding language that you make these layouts with. Right, so let's see. I'm going to have my web browser here on the right, and then we'll bring the VESC tool here over on the left. And let's see here. So over on the left, I've got the documentation for Qt. So Qt, I think, is this the company that makes, yeah, Qt is the company. And so Qt, the company, they have this QML language, and it's kind of like a programming language, or like a scripting language, or whatever you want to call it, where you can make user interfaces with it, right? And so within the VESC packages, the user interfaces, like if you're making if you want a user interface for your VESC package, you use QML to create that user interface. So I thought that maybe for this video, we could explore QML a little bit, and creating interfaces that we can use in VESC packages. Previously, I explored the scripting, so I have some videos on that already, right? So in this video, I just want to kind of play around with QML, and we can design some layouts here in the QML editor. I'm not an expert with QML. This is actually like the first time I've ever used QML. but it seems simple enough if you're familiar with any kind of software development. It's pretty easy to pick up. There's a whole bunch of examples here. If you click on this examples tab, you see these tabs down here that are switching around. If you click on the examples tab, you can load up examples, right? So as an example, we can come down here to this one, and I'll copy all of this into here, and then we can run it, and then you can see over here on the right there is the rendered QML. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of like a example interface that they've got here. So all of this text over here in this scripting is kind of like JavaScript QML is. So all of this over here, this code, this is all QML that creates this interface over on the right. And QML interfaces are kind of responsive, so if I pull this thing out and it goes into landscape mode, it kind of like flips around and it's a responsive layout. So this is something that I've been looking into recently because I've been doing some scripting, and I'm kind of building my way up towards making a VESC package. So I thought that I would do a video here and just kind of play around with QML and make some user interfaces and try this out, because I don't know, I've seen this one video from Benjamin Vetter where he it's like an introduction to VESC packages and how it works. But in terms of like VESC development and VESC scripting, there's not a whole lot of people that are doing it. So I thought I could do it. All right, so I'm gonna take a breather here, and then when I come back, let's do some QML. All right, so here we go. Let's do some QML. It doesn't seem like I can zoom this text in and make this any bigger. So I'm sorry about that. It might be kind of hard to read this text. But this is what we've got. So we're in the QML. Over here on the left, you click on VESC DevTools, and there's QML scripting. We can come in here, and then there's kind of like an interface, like a tabbed interface that show all of the QML scripts that are open. And then it seems like there's one tab here that's called main, right? And that is the tab where when you click on run up in the top, it'll render the QML that is in this main tab, right? So like, for example, if I click on an example down in the bottom, see how that opened up this new tab here? So if I click run again, it's still running whatever is over in this main tab. So that was a little bit confusing to me at first. So like as you're opening up these other tabs, if you want to render it and run it, like you're gonna have to either copy it and then paste it over here and then run it like that, or else what you can do is before you click on the example to load it in, you can just clear out the main tab, and then if the main tab is clear, when you click on the example, it just loads the example into the main tab. So just to clear up some confusion with how that works. And it seems like Control-Z doesn't even undo in this script editor, so it's kind of like there's no undo in this thing. So I don't know, it might be worth looking into like using Visual Studio Code or something to do your coding in. This editor, as a software developer, it seems like it's kind of lacking some functionality that you would want, like just basic functionality. So yeah, and I think in Visual Studio Code, I haven't done any QML in Visual Studio Code yet, but I think there's like a package or something. Let's see. Where do I haven't used Visual Studio Code for such a long time. Where extensions. So in the extensions, I think we can search for QML, and then it looks like there's, let's see here. It looks like there's some options in Visual Studio Code. For QML. I'm not sure which one is like the official extension, but it looks like there's plenty of extensions for Visual Studio Code for doing QML. So it's probably worth looking into an actual text editor instead of using this. This thing's a little bit janky, but we're just going to use this for now. So let's undo by just deleting everything. Well, I guess we're going to have to type out what I had again because I can't undo. So basically, like if we want to do a QML layout, we can just start, and I'm just going to delete everything except for these import statements at the top. So let's delete all that stuff out. Alright, so we've got our import statements at the top. That just kind of declares which libraries and like which other pieces of code that we want to pull in and take advantage of and use in this script. So this is like Qt Quick and all these like all this Qt stuff. That's just kind of the layout engine, just pulling in different parts of that layout engine. And then it looks like there's some Vetter namespaces that get pulled in here that were used in that other QML layout. I'm not sure if I need all of these import statements, but I'll just leave them all in here for now just because I know that I need some of them. So then so if we run this, it's just going to be like an empty thing, right? So then if we want to start adding things to our QML, you kind of start creating them down here, right? So I think we can do like a rectangle, and then we could do, so this rectangle, we're gonna do, let's see here, background red. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so I don't know what I'm doing. So why don't we start over here with the QML documentation. We've got the first steps with QML, creating a QML document. QML document defines a hierarchy of objects with a highly readable structured layout. Every QML document consists of two parts, an imports section and an object declaration section. So we just talked about the imports, that's right here. So now we have to start our object declaration section. Okay, so we can import and use the Qt Quick model. So that's what this we've done up here. So let's define our object hierarchy. So I'm going to come in here and then we're just going to say like rectangle, and then we're going to do color is red. That's what I want it to do. And then we'll do text. So there's going to be a text inside of this rectangle, and the text is going to say hello world. And this is what we do whenever we're learning a new programming language, is we always do hello world first. And now you can see that my rectangle did not render any kind of a background. So maybe we have to give it an explicit width and height like they did over in this example. So let's give it, let's see, does that give us, there's the rectangle. Alright, so it seems like if the rectangle is just kind of like a root thing and it's not inside of some other container layout thing, you have to kind of give it, a width and a height. But then there's also like these, the way that you do layouts with this, and it's kind of in like grids. So if we do, let's see here, so I think there's like a column layout is one way that we can do this. So if we create a column layout, and then I bring that rectangle inside of the column layout, right, and then so we can make another one. So we'll have two rectangles inside of like a column layout. So then what happens? Interesting. Just seems like they're right on top of each other. So let's keep going here. So they're doing like menu bars and all that kind of stuff. So let's see. Rectangle text. So I think we just have to give these rectangles like the width and the height again, and then they'll show up. I think you can also just make them fill the parent. So here's the column layout, right? So you can see over on the right there's two boxes, two rectangles that have the red color, and then there's text inside of them that says hello world. And so I can change this one to hello world again, and then we'll run it, and you can see we've got our two rectangles. So if I change this to a row layout, it'll kind of stack things in the other way, horizontally. That kind of threw me off at first, because when I'm thinking of like columns and rows, I'm thinking of like a relational database where the columns go horizontally to the right and then the rows go vertically, like up and down. It's kind of the opposite when you're thinking about these column layouts and the row layouts and the visual layout. So that's the column layout and the row layout. I think there's some kind of a grid layout too that is for like if you want to make it like a tabular, kind of like a table. So let's see here. So like in the QML, these are properties, right? So like, for example, like our rectangle item, it has a color property that we've set to red, and it has a width property that we've set to 200, and so on, right? So those are properties. And then so there's kind of like a hierarchy too. So you can see that this row layout, the rectangle is inside of the row layout, and then this text is inside of the rectangle is inside of the row layout, right? So there's kind of like a hierarchy of things, and they can be like inside of each other. So property, let's see here. What else we got? So you can do animations. You can define your own custom like QML types. So when we were looking at those examples, let's go back and look at that example quick right here. When we were looking at this example, like these gauges over here, what you would do is you would just create that one custom gauge QML type, and then you can just put that gauge in like 5 different spots, like you see right here. So if we come down here in this layout, it looks like it's called a custom gauge, is what that's called. So we could even use this custom gauge and make our own gauges that with different things, different numbers and stuff. Let's go back to my script that I was working on. Alright, so here we're back in QML. So what else can we do in QML? We can keep going here. So where to go from here? So QML applications, Qt, examples, and tutorials. Layouts, let's see here. So I'm wondering, is there like a list of the controls that, like a list of the widgets or whatever that you can use? I don't know. So I guess maybe as an exercise, we can try making like an actual user interface here instead of doing just like this hello world stuff. So, what's kind of a user interface that we could do? Maybe let's make a layout for like let's imagine that I'm gonna make like a pedal assist package in VESC. And so when you load that pedal assist package in VESC, you would probably want some kind of a user interface that you could see in VESC where you could set the parameters and configure the pedal assist as part of that package. So you might have some kind of a, let's make just kind of like an imaginary interface for a pedal assist package. Alright guys, so the first thing I've got to figure out here is kind of like laying things out and positioning things. I was just kind of messing around with this row layout, and I can't seem to get like the rectangles to fill the row. I can't seem to get them to like fill the rows how I want them to. Like they're just like overlapping and filling the whole screen. So what we have to do is we have to come to the Qt Quick Layouts overview, getting started, and we have to read here. So it says, the intention of using a layout is to rearrange its children whenever the layout changes size. The application must ensure that the layout gets resized. In the following snippet, the row layout ensures that by specifying anchors.fill parent. Okay, so let's see here. So we've got like this, we've got this row layout, and then it's got this anchors.fill set to parent. So let's take this example here, and I'm just gonna copy this in here and then see how this looks. Okay. So you can see here we've got a row layout. So that's and then it's got two rectangles inside of it. We've set anchors.fill to parent on that row layout. So that means like whenever I'm resizing this, that row layout is automatically going to fit the space that it has available to it. So it says, let's see here. Okay, so then it says that it says that this one rectangle just has an explicit size, like a fixed size, where you just set that preferred width and height explicitly. And then this other rectangle over on the right, we just make it fill the width and the height, like that. So let's see here. So I think what we want to do for a user interface is probably like start out with a column layout where it's kind of going up and down. So you can see if I change just that from a row layout to a column layout, it's going to start going the opposite way there, up and down. And then I'll leave anchors.fill. But then, so let's start making our own user interface here. So at the top, let's just have like a text. We'll just say text, and then we'll set the text to pedal assist package. Pedal assist VESC package. And then, so I think we can do like, so how do we align the text? It's so much easier just to use AI for all of these questions than to like dig through documentation as a developer. Because if I come here and I'm just like, how to horizontally center text in QML, and we ask Brave, it's going to give me this AI answer, and then we can just go like this. So it looks like there's a couple ways that we can horizontally center text. So let's, if you want to center the text within a layout, such as a column, you should not use anchors inside layouts. Instead, you can use the layout alignment attached property. So let's try that. So it says layout.align. Let's see. Can we do that here? Layout.alignment. I don't see. I don't see this option. So the QML that is inside of VESC might be like a subset of the full QML, you know, that's available. So let's see. I don't know if this is gonna work. We can try it. So layout dot alignment qt. So this doesn't seem like it's gonna work. Align h center. We'll probably get some kind of like an error on. Oh, it did work. Wow. Huh. So apparently, like, because when you're typing in this text editor, usually it'll give you some kind of like a preview. They call it code completion, like when you go layout, and then you can see that little pop-up, and it gives me all of these options here. This is called code completion. And so I didn't see an option inside of here for alignment, and that's what I was getting confused about. But it seems like it does exist within this version of QML within VESC, but it just doesn't show it in the editor, like in code completion. It does seem like it worked though, right? Because if I delete this layout.alignment, now you can see that it's aligned to the left again. So now let's make this text color white so we can see it. And then I'm sure you can change the text size. AI is a big deal for learning programming, guys. Like, let me tell you what, it saves so much time. It's kind of a scary time to be alive with all this AI stuff, but at the same time, it is definitely, it's changing things, boys. We can save a lot of time. So point size. So if we do font.point size and we set that to 24, is that going to get bigger? There we go. Makes that text a little bigger there. So I wonder, how can we align this to the top now? Because we've horizontally aligned it to the center, but then how do I get this column layout like going to the top? So it's filling the parent, so it's filling everything, but then the text is being aligned in the center. So if I add, let's see here. Is there like a toggle? Or what other things do we have here? Are there toggles? No? We might just have to use a text box or something. Toggle in QML. Do they have that? Toggle button. Window. What do we got here? What's going on? Toggle button. Is that something we can do? Toggle button? Can we do that? Run? No? See, this is what I was talking about. I don't know if... So it says in QML, a toggle button is an extension of Qt Quick Control's button that uses the checked property to toggle between two states. Interesting. So... text. I don't know if toggle button is available inside of the QML that we have here. Qt Quick to Qt Quick.window. So I wonder if we import Qt Quick.window 2.2, will that work now? Doesn't seem like it. I don't know if we can use a toggle button. Maybe there's a switch? Let's try this. Switch? Oh, there's a switch. Cool. Alright, so can we add... Do we add text to that, or do we have to add text separately? Let's see here. Switch. QML. So you usually just like Google stuff, and then it'll kind of, we can end up here on the Qt website, and then it'll kind of tell us what we can do with the switch. So it says the switch button can be toggled on or off. So then we can set the text to enable PIS script. Oops. I forgot that little ending quotation. There we go. So now you can see there's like a toggle button here. But it's still kind of, we still have to kind of like align these things more to the top. It's kind of, so what if I take this anchors.fill parent? Is that gonna make everything at the top? There we go. So what does this spacing do? Let's see here. That's just in between the items? Alright, that's fine. So let's see. This is all kind of new to me, guys. We're just messing around with this. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright guys, so sometimes when we don't know what we're doing, that's when we need the AI. And we can just go, give me a QML layout with a header text that says pedal assist VESC package. Then a switch with the text enable PAS package. Then a slider with the text label pedal assist power percentage. And the slider goes from 0 to 100. All of these elements should stack vertically. So we're going to answer it. I guess it doesn't like that. It doesn't like that. So can we go to like Gemini? Can Google do it? Let's see. Didn't Gemini just come out with a new thing? Let's see if it's any good. What's going on here, Google? Google! What's going on? Gemini. Alright, ask Gemini. So, new model added. Where's the good one? Multi-step reasoning? Flash thinking? Let's try that one. Alright, let's do it. Wait, what's going on here? That's not what I wanted. Alright, here we go. Let's see how the Google AI can do it. Ooh, man. Google AI is kind of like looking a lot like DeepSeek now. Look at what it cranked out for me. So this is kind of what AI can do. It can kind of help you figure things out with coding. I don't think that it like does like there's no way that that AI can like completely fucking code everything for you, but it is helpful in being able to kind of understand how to do things. I still think I liked my code a little bit more than that other code they came up with, so I'll just keep messing around with it, I guess. So it kind of, it's useful because you can kind of read through the reasoning here, and then it says it's reviewing the code, it's checking the imports. It uses a column for the root layout or vertical stacking. Text is for the header, configured with a bold font and pixel size. So it was kind of interesting what they came up with there. So that can be pretty helpful. I guess there is undo in this editor. Uh-oh. So now what happened? Do we undo like that? Interesting. I wonder why that didn't work. So as you can see, guys, making layouts with QML, and doing software development in general, kind of like a tedious, time-consuming task, and you just kind of keep fiddling around with things until they start working. So like, I could probably use this slider to kind of like, my idea with this slider was to get that so that it was adjusting the power level, but then I don't know, something's wrong with my layout. Why doesn't this work? I thought it worked the first time that I pasted it in here, didn't it? What's going on here? Let's see. Does it work now? There it is. Okay, so that's kind of similar to what I had. So let's see here. So let's make this into a row layout, and then so that slider will be over on the right of the pedal assist power. So anchors, parent, horizontal center, the switch. So let's go. What's going on here? Can we change this? What's going on? Do we want to do like anchors that fill parent? Is that what we want? No. This is all new to me, boys. I don't know what I'm doing. Might take me a while to get a layout working here. But, so I just kind of wanted to show you guys what's available in VESC. I'm sorry that I'm not good at QML. Like, this is my first time trying it out. It's a little bit late tonight. I'm going to keep dicking around with this. But I just wanted to kind of give you an example of what it's like and what's available in VESC for making layouts. It's called QML. And you can kind of use AI and then go to the Qt documentation to kind of figure it out if you're not familiar with it. And then you bring the QML over here into VESC, and you can build these cool layouts with it. Like, look, like some of these are really cool, like these layouts. Like, here's that layout from in the VESC tool on the real-time data page. So that's pretty cool. And then so here is like, let's close these. So yeah, there's a lot of cool layouts, a lot of cool things that you can do with VESC. I'm gonna keep working on stuff. Keep figuring this out. I'll make a better tutorial in the future. I just kind of wanted to share with you how it works, and then kind of like dink around with it a little bit. But so that is kind of all the time I want to spend on this for now. Stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about VESC development and VESC packages and doing Lisp BM scripts with the QML interfaces to extend and customize VESC. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to keep focusing on this. I think I'm going to make a pedal assist package because I don't really like the pedal assist that comes built into VESC. So that seems like a good option that we could use a VESC package for. Is we could make a package that does pedal assist. And then I also think that my script for the BBSHD mid-drive motor, all of that functionality and those features that I have in that script, I could probably make it into like a package that would be like a general purpose mid-drive VESC package or something like that. So I could potentially make like a mid-drive package, and then that package would be available within VESC, and you could pull it down and use it with different motors or something. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe. If you're using a VESC controller, let me know how it's going if you've got the Flipski. If you're going to buy a Flipski, use code EBB at flipski.net for $10 off. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry this video is all over the place. I just wanted to show you guys what's up in VESC and what's available. And I'll put out some more content soon once I figure out this QML and I get a little bit better with it. And until then, like and subscribe. Peace out. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.